Have you ever messaged someone, a friend, a partner, maybe a family member, and got nothing? No reply, no explanation, just radio silence? Or maybe you are that person, the one who sees the text, feels a physical wave of exhaustion wash over them, and puts the phone face down. You tell yourself you'll reply in 5 minutes, but 5 minutes turns into 5 hours, then 5 days, then 5 weeks. We live in an era of the availability tax. Society has quietly signed a contract on your behalf that says because you have a phone, you must be accessible on it, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We treat immediate access like a moral obligation. If you don't reply instantly, you're sus. If you go offline, you're acting weird. If you disappear, you're toxic. But what if I told you that the people who disappear, the ones who go ghost mode for weeks at a time, aren't actually broken? They aren't necessarily rude or lazy or falling apart. In fact, the people who have the courage to vanish might be the only ones who truly understand how to survive in a world designed to drain you dry. If you have ever felt the urge to delete every app, throw your phone in a river, and just be, this video is for you. Today, we are decoding the psychology of the disappearing act, and we're going to find out why walking away might be the only way to truly come back. Section 1. The myth of the fleeky friend. Let's clear the air first. We aren't talking about ghosting people to be cruel. We aren't talking about manipulating people with silence. We are talking about the withdrawal. When someone pulls away, the immediate assumption is arrogance. They think they're too good for us. Or we assume it's depression. They must be in a dark place. And while that can be true, there is a third category that psychology often overlooks: the deep processor. For a deep processor, social interaction isn't just hanging out. It is data processing. Every conversation, every text, every emotional nuance is absorbed, analyzed, and felt. Most people skim the surface of interaction like a stone skipping on water. But these people, they dive. And when you spend your life underwater, eventually you have to come up for air. The disappearing act isn't an act of rejection against you. It is an act of preservation for them. They're not leaving the friendship, they're leaving the noise. They have reached a point of sensory saturation, where one more notification feels less like a message and more like a physical blow. So they shut the gates, not to keep you out, but to keep themselves in. Section 2. Social homeostasis, the science. There is a biological reality here that we ignore at our peril. Neuroscientists have a term for this: social homeostasis. Just like your body has a regulatory system for hunger, you eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full, your brain has a regulatory system for social contact. When you are lonely, your brain releases craving signals like dopamine, driving you to connect. But when you are oversaturated, your brain triggers a withdrawal response. In our ancestors' time, oversaturation was rare. You lived in a tribe of 50 people. Today, you have the thoughts, opinions, breakfast photos, and political rants of 500 people in your pocket before you've even brushed your teeth. Your brain was not built for this. For the disappearers, their social homeostat is highly sensitive. They hit their limit faster, and when that limit is hit, the brain enters a shutdown state. It's not a choice, it's a circuit breaker. If you keep pushing a circuit that has tripped, you start a fire. So these people instinctively know, I must cut the power. They stop texting, they stop posting, they stop performing. They go into a dormant state to reset their baseline. If you are someone who does this, stop feeling guilty. You aren't a bad friend. You are a biological organism protecting its operating system from crashing. Section 3. The Chrysalis Phase. Growth requires silence. But there is something deeper than just resting. There is transformation. Think about the caterpillar. When it's time to become a butterfly, it doesn't just grow wings while crawling around with its caterpillar friends. It stops. It isolates. It builds a chrysalis. Inside that cocoon, it essentially disintegrates. It completely undoes its former self to rearrange into something new. This is the chrysalis phase. Many people who disappear are instinctively entering a period of rapid internal growth. You cannot upgrade your software while you are still running the program. You have to reboot. These are the people who vanish for 3 months and emerge with a new business or a new physique or a completely new mindset. They realize that they could not change while surrounded by the people who only knew who they used to be. Society tells us that consistency is key. Show up every day. But nature tells us that cycles are key. Winter is not lazy because it doesn't grow flowers. It is preparing the soil. The people who disappear are often in their personal winter. They are killing off old habits, old ways of thinking, and old identities. If you disturb them during this phase, if you demand they come out and play, you are interrupting the metamorphosis. You're asking a half-formed butterfly to crawl. They disappear because the version of themselves that you know doesn't exist anymore, and the new version isn't ready yet. Section 4. The shadow side. Trauma and hyper-independence. We have to be honest, though. Not all silence is healthy. For some, the disappearing act comes from a darker place. Hyper-independence. This is a trauma response often found in people who grew up having to handle everything alone. Maybe as a child, when you cried, nobody came. Maybe when you were overwhelmed, you were told to deal with it. So you learned a brutal lesson. My pain is my problem, and other people are just an extra burden. When these people face stress, they don't reach out, they retreat. They view needing help as a weakness. They view sharing their struggle as burdening others. So when life gets hard, they go dark. They think, I'll come back when I've fixed it. I'll come back when I'm perfect again. This is the trap. Because while solitude heals, isolation kills. There is a fine line between monk mode and bunker mode. In monk mode, you disconnect to connect deeper with yourself. In bunker mode, you disconnect because you believe you are under attack. If you are the person who vanishes when things get tough, ask yourself, am I retreating to heal, or am I retreating to hide my imperfections? Because the people who love you, they don't just want the fixed version of you. They want the messy version too. You don't have to disappear to be worthy of love. You don't have to solve the puzzle of your life before you let anyone see the pieces. Section 5. The power of scarcity. Now let's flip the script. Let's talk about the power these people hold. In a world of cheap, instant attention, scarcity is the ultimate currency. Think about the people you respect the most. Are they the ones posting 15 stories a day, narrating their lunch, desperate for your eyes? Or are they the ones who speak rarely, but when they do, you listen? The people who disappear understand the economics of presence. When you are always available, your presence loses value. You become background noise. You become content. But when you are willing to walk away, to be unavailable, you signal something powerful. My time belongs to me. There's a quiet dignity in being unreachable. It signals that you have a life that is more important than the perception of that life. It signals that you are the protagonist of your own story, not an extra in everyone else's. When these people return from their absence, they often come back with a renewed magnetism. Why? Because they are full. They are full of their own thoughts, their own experiences, their own energy. They haven't leaked it all out in comment sections and group chats. They have conserved it. We are drawn to them like moths to a flame because in a world of burnt-out light bulbs, they are the only ones still glowing. Section 6. How to disappear without burning bridges. So maybe you're listening to this and thinking, I need this. I need to vanish. But how do you do it without destroying your life? How do you take the space you need without hurting the people you love? The difference between the silent treatment and the silent retreat is communication. The people who do this successfully don't just ghost, they set a boundary. It can be as simple as a text. Hey, I'm going through a busy season and need to disconnect for a bit to focus. I'm not ignoring you, just recharging. I'll be back soon. That's it. That is all it takes.
Your act of defining the silence removes the anxiety from it. It turns abandonment into solitude. And for the people on the receiving end, if you have a friend who has vanished, don't take it personally. Don't spam them, don't guilt trip them. Send one message. Thinking of you, no need to reply. Just hope you're good. That is the greatest gift you can give a disappearer. It is a lifeline that says, I am here, but I am not demanding. We have convinced ourselves that love means constant contact, but sometimes love is space. Sometimes self-love is silence. If you are the person who feels the need to run away, to hide in the dark until your battery recharges, stop apologizing for it. Your capacity for silence is not a defect. It is a superpower. It is the only thing keeping you sane in an insane world. Go into your cocoon. Build your walls for a little while. Let the world spin without you. It will be there when you get back. But remember this, the goal of disappearing isn't to stay gone forever. The goal is to remember who you are when no one is watching, so that when you finally do return, you can bring that person back with you. Don't be afraid to vanish. Sometimes you have to get lost to be found.